Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Empowered in Health. I am so excited you're here as always to talk about all things wellness, from mental health, physical health, nutrition, and so much more. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about where I'm at personally and professionally in my life and the big decision I've made to kind of move on to the next chapter of health and wellness coaching. So for those of you that have been connected with me or that have followed me for a while, I am so incredibly grateful for you and for the opportunity to have so many great conversations over the years about health and wellness. Everything from women's health to postpartum health, maternal mental health, to physical fitness, to nutrition habits, to sleep habits, to our marriages, right? Our relationships, to, oh my gosh, so many other topics. There have been so many blessings and so many incredible things I've been able to connect with so many of you on for years, right? So if you're new to following me, so glad you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time to connect and learn a little bit more about me and to learn more about some of the topics that I share about related to health and wellness, specifically related to mental health and female physiology, women's health, and things like that. So if you're newer here, you may not know this, but I've actually been a health and wellness coach for 8 years. I've been partnered with a company called BODi, and I started my business within the network marketing space, right? That's how I kind of got my feet wet as a busy mom with 2 really young kids. And that was almost 8 years ago, which is wild for me to think about, a really long time. And, when I first started with BODi, my second kiddo was about 1-ish, a little over 1 year old. And I really needed an outlet. Like I really needed a way to implement simple habits to take care of myself in the busyness of young kids, right? At that time, I was really not leaving my house a lot. I was at home with my kids a lot. They were not in school yet. I was breastfeeding. I was doing all the things at home. And so this idea of finding something that I could bring into our house that would make it much easier for me to create habits was what I needed. And that's when BODi came into the picture. And it was such an incredible blessing for me as a mom. It gave me the tools and the resources I needed to get back into a place of building consistent healthy habits, right? Very simple, basic workouts to follow right at home. Very, very simple, basic, meal plans and nutrition strategies to follow at home. Things that I could do that would really help me feel my best as I was also learning how to be a mom to 2 kids, right? And that was, again, almost 8 years ago. Since then, we've moved across the country. I've had 2 more kids. I've learned a lot about myself when it comes to what I want professionally, but also my personal wellness journey has shifted a lot over the past 8 years. I've gone through a couple different seasons of, again, more kids, more postpartum journeys, which were all different, anxiety and depression, which all felt a little bit different during those seasons. And most recently now I'm into this perimenopausal stage, right? Where I'm learning even more as I get into my 40s, what that really means, right? What does hormonal fluctuation really look like? And what can that potentially do to how I feel? Learning more about how I need to shift my habits, how I need to pay attention to what I'm actually doing every day to take care of myself. Like it's a whole new level of learning. And so here's where I'm at, right? I've been so blessed to be a part of the BODi community for 8 years. I've been a part of a community of women who are incredibly passionate about taking care of their families, providing for their families, taking care of other women, empowering other women, helping them feel supported, helping them feel encouraged, helping them create healthy daily habits. Like it's all such a blessing. And it's been a huge part of my life for the past 8 years, like I said. But I'm now in this place where I'm in a different season, right? And I have prayed so hard about what does this next chapter really look like? Like, is it time for the next chapter? Should I be moving to the next chapter? What does it look like? And here's what I know. I have no idea what my next chapter is going to be, but I do know that it's time for me to close the chapter on what I've been doing for the past 8 years and to open myself up to the next opportunity, right? Whatever that might look like. I've been sharing over the past handful of podcasts that I've been diving into different certifications lately, right? Certified personal trainer, my nutrition coaching certification, my sync coaching certification. And right now I'm working through or with a business mentor to really think through like, how do I want to set up my own personal business and my own personal brand for many years to come? What is that going to look like? I don't know. I'm still formulating all that, right? I'm still working through it. And it is a scary, overwhelming process, I will tell you. It is unbelievably unnerving. You know, I've been pretty comfortable in what I've been doing the past 8 years. And I've been in a place where, you know, I started to kind of get on autopilot and things started to work like clockwork. And, you know, I didn't really have to overly think or push myself out of my comfort zone too far. But I've learned that that's kind of been the problem, right? It hasn't really forced me to try new things, do new things, really bet on myself, right? It's left me in my comfort zone a little more than I wanted to admit. And again, because my personal life and my professional life has evolved and changed so much over the past 8 years, but especially the past 3, like I kind of just needed to make the choice to get self-aware enough and say, like, it's time to evolve, right? It's time to lean into what the next chapter may look like. And, you know, it's hard to change. It's hard to say goodbye, right? It's hard to end, you know, something that you've been a part of. It's hard to close the door. And it's hard to move on, right? It's hard to let go. Change is not easy. Nothing about change is easy. It's scary and overwhelming, and it can make you feel really defeated. It'll make you question yourself. It has made me feel incredibly overwhelmed to think about this idea of starting again or starting fresh or closing the chapter on what I've been doing. But what it's also done is given me this new lens to think about, but what are the new opportunities, right? What's the new growth going to look like? You know, I don't know. And the only way I know is by taking the step to change and taking the step to transition. So as I've kind of shared already with my clients and my fellow coaches that I've worked with for so long, I will be ending my BODi partnership this week. And again, that feels like a really hard, overwhelming decision just because it's been such a big part of my life and a big part of how I've really grown up so far as a mom, right? The community and the resources have been a lifeline for me for years. And it served me so incredibly well. And being a part of the community was such an incredible blessing, and quite honestly still is, because I've been able to make such incredible connections with other like-minded women who care about wellness, who care about their family's health, who care about longevity health, who care about providing for their families, who care about finding unique ways to create healthy habits that don't feel overwhelming. Like all of those things, all of those principles at the core are super important. For me, it's more about stepping further into what I feel like I'm being aligned to do. And as I continue to uncover that, I really feel like being open is what matters most, right? Like being open to seeing what God unveils in my life as I continue to press forward towards where I feel like I'm being called, where I feel like I'm being led, but also like just being open to see what's revealed. You know, it's taken me some time to really discern exactly what was meant for me as far as this next step goes. And I think that's kind of where I got caught a little bit. I was waiting for this like very distinct, specific direction, and that hasn't really come, right? It's been more about the discernment and the really clear nudge and understanding that the chapter that I've been in it's time to close, right? That's been the stronger message that I feel like I've been hearing a little bit more as of late. And so I just wanted to give that update, right? A lot of you I've connected through the BODi or have connected with through the BODi community. A lot of you have heard of me through the BODi community. And I just want you to know how incredibly grateful I am for this incredible chapter in my life, and how while it's really hard to close, I know that it's what's meant for me, right? As my health continues to evolve, as my passions and kind of where I'm headed continues to evolve, I just really believe in the power of listening to that, right? And asking yourself in your daily life, like, is what I'm doing still feeling good, right? Is what I'm doing aligned with where I'm at, right? You know, the reality of life is we all change, right? Seasons change, people change, businesses change, ideas change, passions change, our health changes, our family situations change. And, you know, being aware of that and honest and real and raw about that and leaning into the idea of maybe having to pivot into something different is not easy, but it's just important, right? It's so important to pay attention to those little nudges that we might feel in our lives when something maybe isn't quite the right fit, or when something feels like it served you really well, but maybe it's time for a change, give yourself permission to say that's okay, right? That you're evolving, that it's okay to evolve. And I know that's not easy, but it's just, in the end, kind of the gift inside life, right? Because it gives us an opportunity for new growth and new opportunity, like new things to do, right? New things to try, new people to meet, new impact to make, new communities to build, whatever it might be, right? So that's kind of my heart. That's kind of what I wanted to share today. TBD on where I'm going. You know, I still have these big plans to continue to build out my own offerings this year. I've been sharing that for months. And I am starting I'm starting a big training actually tomorrow, where I'm going to dive deeper into building some of that out. And in the meantime, I'm really praying a lot and leaning into just this place of knowing that what's meant for me will be, and knowing that, you know, I'm being led in the direction that I'm supposed to, right? And so if you're in a season of uncertainty, or if you're in a season where you're trying to discern what's meant for you, are you supposed to be closing a chapter? Are you supposed to be moving on? Is there a change coming? Are you too comfortable and you need to, you know, push yourself out of your comfort zone? What does that look like? Like, don't be afraid to really listen and tune into the nudges, right? In your body and in your brain. You know, don't be afraid to pray over it really hard. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback, talk to friends, talk to family, and really like get in tune with what is it that you really feel like you want in your life, right? And is where you are right now in alignment with what you want, right? Maybe you don't know what you want, but I think in the end, like getting into a place where you can get challenged and, you know, empowered to push out of what you've been comfortably doing is really a great place to learn about what you may want. And it's scary, but it's so incredibly encouraging and exciting at the same time, right? So that's a little bit about me. I hope you guys have a great week. Again, if you guys have any questions about this transition or kind of where I'm headed, anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to connect with you in any capacity, just to hear a little bit more about your story, how I can be of service, and what I can do to continue to support you on your inside out health and wellness journey. Have a good one.